man called Otto, the Toledo War, and George Washington are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 14th, 2022. It is the 348th day of the year. There are 17 days left in 2022. It is the 50th Wednesday in the 51st week and the 84th day of fall. There are 7 days left until winter. If today's your birthday, you are a Sagittarius. Today is National Alabama Day, the 22nd state to join the Union. Alabama has played pivotal roles in U.S. history, scientific advancement, and its amazing landscape attracts visitors from far and wide. That's what the website says. Alabama enjoys 60 miles of shoreline along the Gulf Coast, which a lot of people don't realize how beautiful the Gulf Coast is in Alabama, and Mississippi for that matter. I think of all the Gulf states, Alabama's coastline's my favorite. I mean, Texas and Florida have some amazing beaches, but I just like Alabama's. I don't know what it is. Alabama has played a big part in a lot of different things in our history. It was the capital of the Confederacy until May of 1861. That was in Montgomery, and nearly 100 years later, the Civil Rights Movement found its home there, and of course that erupted across the country. Huntsville is known as Rocket City. It has the U.S. Space and Rocket Center there. They played a big part in the whole getting people to the moon and all that early stuff, and still goes on to this day. A lot of NASA connections are in Huntsville. Guy once told me there are requirements to living in Alabama. You gotta like sweet tea, hot days, good people, and Alabama football. Roll Tide. All right, let's see what else December 14th has given us. 1863, the Toledo War officially ends as the Frostbitten Convention votes to accept Congress's terms admitting Michigan as a U.S. state. Toledo War from 1835 to 1836 is also known as the Michigan-Ohio War, or Ohio-Michigan War, depending on which state you're standing in. This was an almost bloodless boundary dispute between the state of Ohio and the adjoining territory of Michigan over what was known as the Toledo Strip. This was a strip of land that went from Lake Erie to the Indiana border. If you drove this entire thing from Toledo to the border, it's less than an hour and a half, about 80 miles. It really wasn't that big of a piece of land. In total, it was only 468 square miles. Now, this land was, for the most part, considered part of Ohio, but when Michigan petitioned for statehood in 1835, they sought to include the disputed territory within the boundaries. Both sides passed legislation attempting to force the other side to give up the land. Both governors instituted criminal penalties for residents submitting to the other's authority. So, like, if you're a Michigan resident and you submit to Ohio's government and their rules, you can go to jail in Michigan. So all those people in between were just in a really bad place. So the Ohio governor at one point shows up in or near Toledo with about 600 militiamen. Not to be outdone, the man known as the boy governor, Stephen T. Mason, who was the governor of the Michigan Territory, he was only 24. He showed up with about 1,000 men. Now during this whole conflict, there was some fisticuffs and a few different things. Shots were fired in the air to, make a point. That was about it. And at one point, someone got stabbed. That was the whole conflict. In the end, Michigan was admitted into the Union, and they gave up the Toledo Strip. In exchange, what is now known as the Upper Peninsula was added to the Michigan Territory, and it became a state. 1863, the American Civil War. The Confederate victory under General James Longstreet at the Battle of Beans Station in East Tennessee ends the Knoxville campaign, but achieves very little as Longstreet returns to Virginia the next spring. 1955, Albania, Austria, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Finland, Hungary, Ireland, Japan, Jordan, Laos, Libya, Nepal, Portugal, Romania, and Spain joined the United Nations through the United Nations Security Council Resolution 109. 1964, the American Civil Rights Movement, Heart of Atlanta Motel versus United States. The Supreme Court of the United States rules that Congress can use the Constitution's Commerce Clause to fight discrimination. 1985, Wilma Mankiller takes office as the first woman elected to serve as the principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. 2017, the Walt Disney Company announces that it would acquire 21st Century Fox, including the 20th Century Fox movie studio, for $52.4 billion. My grandfather worked for 20th Century Fox movie studio. Movies released on December 14th, 2022. Today, A Man Called Otto, a comedy drama film that follows an irritable man named Otto who forms an unlikely friendship with his new neighbors. This new kinship helps him overcome the death of his wife. The film was directed by Mark Forrester. I saw the previews for this and it looks great. It looks very entertaining and it really looks like a nice movie. I'm going to go see it this weekend. I'll let you know how it is. The filming took place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in February of 2022, so that's a pretty incredible turnaround. Tom Hanks plays Otto in the movie. Born on December 14th, 1960, James Comey, American lawyer who was named the director of the FBI in 2013. He previously served as the United States Deputy Attorney General in the George W. Bush administration from 2003 to 2005. He was relieved by his duties by Donald Trump in 2017. He reportedly kept a copy of the FBI's request to wiretap Martin Luther King Jr. on his desk as a reminder of the organization's ability to do wrong. He was named director of the FBI by President Barack Obama. Died on December 14th, 1799, George Washington, one of the founding fathers. Everybody knows who he is. An amazing general, for one thing. I've seen YouTube videos where people are all, these historical ones there. Well, George Washington only won 6 of his 17 battles, losing 7, and 4 of them were considered a draw. I saw some clown talk about that. But what he failed to express to the people, and what I've seen other YouTube channels fail to express, he took a bunch of farmers and Indians and fought the greatest military power of the time, and won. He squeaked out 6 wins. That's like taking a high school football team and playing the Dallas Cowboys and squeaking out 6 wins out of 17. That's an amazing feat. George Washington died on December 14th, 1791 at the age of 67 on his property in Mount Vernon, Virginia. George Washington died of epiglottitis, which is like inflammation of the tongue and trachea, and yeah, it's not attractive. Your skin turns blue, there's a lot of drooling, it's kind of gross. Alright, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.